What's good? It's Ozman the Wizard.
And Naima.
This is not another
damn podcast.
By
our damn selves.
Episode 241.
Yes, I had to think about like 241. There we go.
Something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Went by
kind
of fast. We getting up there now.
Getting up there. Second week of 2022. My year's been pretty phenomenal so far. I don't know about yours.
Yeah, it's been
I know it's very early.
It's very early, but I mean, I see a lot of promise in things. I see stuff coming to fruition. I do see. So I'm like keeping my eye on the prize. I'm gonna keep my eye. You gotta keep your eye on the ball, basically.
Let's start it off with some sad news right here. Another legend lost. A major one this time. First black man to win the Oscar. Black man. Hattie McDaniel won it for the women. First black man to win the Oscar. The late, great Mr. Sidney Poitier. Legend. Died at 94 years old. Just
94. Just right before his birthday, because his birthday was next month, February, so he would have been 95.
Like Betty White, he almost made it to the next.
Almost made it to his 95th, and ironically, I saw and like people in the comment section, because I saw somebody post a TikTok, and they were like basically reflecting on Betty White being lost, and they said, "Let's check on our other legends. Has someone checked on James Earl Jones? Has someone checked on Sidney Poitier?" And people is like, sadly, he just passed Sidney Poitier. Because she literally had just posted that video like right before
the news. Still alive, I believe.
She put that in the thing too. She was like, "Let's check on all these legends."
He's up there. Yeah,
he's like 96, I want to say, like 95 or 96. Yeah, he's older.
Well, I mentioned him because one of my favorite Sidney Poitier movies is Uptown Saturday Night, which also featured Harry Belafonte. I'm thinking right now that Belafonte and Cosby might be the last two alive from that movie. I gotta check it because
possibly.
I think they might be the last two. Because my favorite scene in the movie, which is like a 50-year spoiler, but I'm breaking down the whole scene because I just movie is the Little Seymour and Big
Little Seymour.
Let's start from the beginning.
And I love him. I love Harold Nicholas. I love him.
Okay.
I love Harold.
I want to break down the plot, or we just break down that scene. I could break down the whole movie if you want me to.
You can break down the
We got time. Okay, let's start from let's just saw how we got to that bar scene. Like, so I'll just backtrack just a little bit. Okay, Sidney Poitier, he's married to Rosalind Cash, and that another rest in peace to the late great Rosalind Cash. Yeah. And he's like, a working man. Yeah, he works at some kind of factory, like they making metal shit or something. Some kind of factory he was working.
Metal shit.
It's like,
which they did in the 70s. That was a thing in the 70s. So. Yeah.
His buddy Bill Cosby's a cab driver. Yeah, his best friend. And his buddy is like the troublemaker, pretty much. Where Sidney is like the.
Did he dress like in ugly clothes or like weird looking shit?
He was pretty weird. He got way more zany and Let's Do It Again, but he was pretty
maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe I'm thinking about
pretty tacky in Uptown. He was pretty tacky in that too.
I'm thinking maybe about Let's Do It Again because I know like he was like super tacky like in one of them.
I think they were different characters, but like pretty much the same because he was like he was pretty fucking zany in this one too. Like, but yeah, but Cosby is like, hey, let's go hang out at Madame Zenobia's, which is like his after hours, like which they did. It's like y'all saw Harlem Nights. It was a spot like that, basically. It
was basically Maison Derriere from The Simpsons, basically.
Yeah,
it was at Maison Derriere, pretty much. Like
it was like that. It's Madame Zenobia's. And then poor Sidney's like, okay, fuck it, let's go. But anybody can't just walk in. So Cosby has this bullshit ass letter saying about they're like some kind of diamond merchants. It's some shit to do with diamonds. He flashes the letter and shit, and that's how he gets them in. It's like,
right.
So when they end, they go in and then in the back room behind the red doors where all of the action is, like it's they gambling and like all the action, which is where Leggy Peggy is at on the craps table. And she's like having a hot streak. It's like, no, you gotta let it ride. She's like, and Cosby gets in on the dice game, of course. And then when they rise up, he's like way up. He makes all of this money and shit. And then the place gets robbed. I was saying, yeah. The robbers are another legend. Rest in peace, Silky Slim, who was played by Mr. Calvin Lockhart. Yeah. He was
yes, which was Deke O'Malley and Con Cuts of Harlem. Yeah.
Biggie Smalls and Let's Do It Again. So he's been some legendary characters. And this was one of them, Silky Slim, this one. So they rob the place and take all the patrons shit out. They take all this stuff. So then come to find the next day, Sidney Poitier, he realized he won the lottery. He says his numbers came up, but his ticket was in that fucking wallet. They got stolen in Zenobia. So now they got to get to the bottom. We're going to find that wallet. And now first they hit the streets and like that don't work. And then they hire a seedy ass private detective named Sharp Eye Washington, played by the late Richard Pryor. And he's like, he's just full of shit. He takes their money and like he's full of shit, basically. Like, and just like in Car Wash, he's only in that one scene, but he was hilarious. Like
Richard Pryor. He was fucking
like
legend,
one scene in all these movies, but he like
Richard Pryor
like the funniest scene. It's like so then after that, I forgot how they got the fucking info about Little Seymour and Big. I'm trying to remember like
Seymour. I love Little Seymour.
Little Seymour. He like. I think Geechee Dam might have been mentioned by Richard Pryor. I don't remember. Yeah, but they said then they said go talk to Little Seymour. He hangs out at this little bar over there and shit. So then they come up to the bar, like, which is my favorite scene. I'm gonna break it down. It's like we're not gonna do the whole movie breaking this goddamn. I just wanted to tell you how we got here, why they were looking for Little Seymour, because he might have info on how to find the gangsters.
Right.
So then they go to the bar. Right when they pull up, is a guy getting thrown out the front door, so you know what type of place it is already. So
yeah.
But then they go in anyway. Cosby is like, yeah, you got to come in acting tough. Like, you don't act scary.
Act tough.
And so then they go up to this one guy at the bar and say, hey, you seen Big Percy? Because there's Little Seymour's bodyguard. He said, he ain't here. So then he said, well, where's Little Seymour? Like, who's asking? Like, I'm asking the question, sissy. It's like, yeah. He like basically Cosby beats the guy's ass. It's like, so now they really acting tough. Like, yeah, who else wants some? Now call out Little Seymour since Percy ain't here. So then Sidney Poitier starts talking and he's like the straight lace, saying a lot of like lame ass jokes. Like, yeah, and you are so ugly. And like, oh, so then Seymour walks out and is like, I'm Little Seymour. And you know how Harold Nicholas looks, rest in peace.
Played by the late great Harold Nicholas. If you guys don't remember him, he was the Sarge from one of my favorites.
Little Seymour is basically the same character as Sarge.
It's basically him.
Same character. Like it's like they never said.
You know who he reminds me of?
Same character.
He reminds me of Mr. Nita. That's what he reminds me. Does he remind you of Mr. Nita?
He comes out, and Little Seymour, and then like Cosby is like, they're like, yeah, we got this. And then this big 6'8" motherfucker comes out, he's like, yeah, and I'm Big Percy. Now they look like, and then but Little Seymour, he was badass anyway. Like the bodyguard,
like LeBron James coming out, big ass dude like that.
So then Little Seymour does this fucking karate shot chop. So then Cosby grabs a wooden stool and like swing at him. Then Big Percy grabs a stool and crunches it like nothing and shit. So
like an accordion, just like.
He's like, okay, you got me. He just sits his stool down. And then he says this fucking whack ass story about, hey, like I have this medical condition where I have fits, like, so I really wasn't challenging you. Like I just blacked out, like some bullshit excuse to try to. So then Seymour's like, all right, yeah, like that's you full of shit, dude. Like, but here's a little something for niggas that allow talk Little Seymour, and then he beats the shit out of both of them, basically, of Cosby and
Seymour. Like I really think Harold Nicholas was like a firecracker because like everything that he ever was here, he was always like just mouthy, just even though he was like 5'2" or something, like he was like a small man, but he definitely could hold his own.
Don't nobody talk shit about Little Seymour because like they were like roasting him, and then they got cocky when they saw him because like, he was a little like but he was a little firecracker, and then he had like
little ones to beat you down,
and he had a 6'8" bodyguard too, so yeah, wasn't nobody putting hands on him. And when soon as he started talking shit, everybody in the bar like knew that the two of them didn't know who Little Seymour was.
Exactly.
they all were like cowering, like hey, you're calling out Seymour. It was like the scene when Back to the Future 3 when they said
you're mad dog town. Everybody ran.
We started talking shit about Seymour. Everybody in the bar is like, hey, backing up, like you calling him out like that. Like, obviously, you don't know who you're talking to.
Suicide mission right there.
Then when he
you played yourself. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Well, I forgot to mention they try to run to and then like 3 other dudes like block the door so you even get it because Cosby looks.
I have to watch her Saturday night again.
The door, and then like 4 dudes come like blocking the door like this, like so y'all can't even run and shit now either. So y'all just trapped.
I love City 48 and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I loved him in that.
Yeah, that's another one. But my favorite is probably Uptown.
Yeah, what's the way that he just.
I said Belafonte is in there. He plays a gangster called Gitu Dan. It's like a fake ass Godfather type character, basically. That's what you can tell. Like you tell back in the 70s, the Godfather was like
the Dons were in. Dons were.
They loved that movie. So they were obsessed with that movie in the 70s. So like they basically made a knockoff character. Like it's basically a parody of the Godfather was Belafonte's character. That's who we
the Black Godfather.
Black Godfather, basically. Yeah. But like that's where that scene came from, yeah. And Let's Do It Again is like more zany, with like they hypnotizing boxers and shit. Like it's more zany.
My thing I just love about City, because I love Let's Do It Again. My thing that I love about City 48, like the first time just seeing him, it was just such a just seeing somebody just who looked like him, because like at that point you had not seen anybody look like him, a tall, dark, handsome Black man. You didn't see anybody who looked like that, and to see him just be just so classy and just so, I think it's like wow. It's like okay, it was just.
I think he was an island boy because he had like the accent.
Yeah, he was. He was an island. Yeah, he was Haitian, right? 48. Yeah, yeah. I want to say he was Haitian. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say
back women in that era liked him. Or like see that he had a little accent and everything.
Yeah, because he was him. He was like he had like the look about him, and just seeing him because he was just so classy and just so. Just the way he just carried himself, just so much, just he just exuded just greatness. Like when you just saw him, like I watched his Oscar speech recently, like a few months back. Like I don't know, I just started going down a YouTube rabbit hole. I think I just started watching stuff like that, and I watched his Oscar acceptance speech, and just like the way he was just speaking during that time, it's like with him being the first. This was the 60s, right? I want to say. Yep. Right when he got his, with him being the first, and it's like during that era, we know what's going on during that era in our country. We know what was going on. We can try to erase it like it didn't happen, but we know what's going on during that time frame. We wasn't welcome in certain places, so it's like to see him just go out there and just be so just dignified and just set that tone. So without a City Portier, you wouldn't have a Morgan Freeman, you wouldn't have a Denzel Washington, you wouldn't have a Lawrence Fishburne or Sam Jackson, a Don Cheadle. You would like rest in peace of Chadwick Boseman. You wouldn't have these guys. Chiwetel, you wouldn't have like these actors like that because he said that Mahershala Ali, definitely. You wouldn't have these top elite Black actors. You wouldn't have that because he set that table for them. And it does, like, it has to be one. Like, I mean, it's hard being the first to do something. It is hard being the first, but you lay that ground. So now we can walk on in. We can walk across. So, I mean, you mentioned that you said Denzel actually said that in his speech that he was still chasing. I'm
still chasing you, my brother. You mentioned when he won training. So I'm still in the shadow chasing you.
So rest in peace to him. Such a legend, like, Yeah, it's just like that's the thing that just sucks about getting older. Like, I mean, it's good that we're getting older, obviously.
But that's what it is. When a lot of people you grew up fans of or idolizing start dying, that's how you know you're getting older.
You're getting older, yeah.
All of my heroes are
your idols, your heroes, But you have to remember, like, if these people are like 40, 50, we were children. When I was like Ariana's age, you were like 40 when I was Ariana's age, then.
When I was a baby, like in that movie, like Sydney was probably about the age I am now in Uptown Saturday Night. So I was like, think about that. I was like 50. Yeah. Like about the age I am now then. So you got to think about that.
You got it. Yeah. Like you look at our legends, it's like, okay. Like we always jokingly say, if you were in the 70s, you are in your 70s at least, minimum. Like if you were out, if you were a young adult in the 70s, you're 70 plus now. You are.
You're 30 in the 70s, you be in your 70s now. Yeah. You're like 30, yeah. You
late 70s, I say you'll be in your 70s. Early 70s, you'll be 80.
Early 70s, 80. You're like in the mid 70s, you'd be knocking on 80 now, yeah. You'd be like 30 in the mid 70s. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace to that legend right there.
Rest in peace to the legend. Legendary.
What else you got, kid?
Do you want to go down this dumpster fire / shittiness that's been going on?
What we got?
Well, since last week, we talked a little bit about potentially CPS going virtual. We talked about that. I'm a CPS.
And we because like that if that information had been leaked to the media, said that they planned on voting 90% of them for like
90% are voting for remote learning. So
that's what
this is what has happened.
Left off a week ago. So like let's
a lot has happened this last week.
7 days. Yeah, there's been a lot that happened.
I'm a parent of a CPS student. I am. So my child is very young. She's just in first grade. She's very young because she's a new student, kind of sort. What happened is that my child went to school Monday and Tuesday. Then Tuesday night, we get a text message and an email at 11:30 at night saying that class would be canceled Wednesday.
Well, not many people didn't even know about that. Just showed up with their kid. Well, if you went to bed, you didn't check your messages and shit.
Because I went to bed. Like, I mean, I work in the morning because
check your messages. I want people that didn't.
I checked my messages that morning.
They text or the email. Just got up, got their kid ready, and drove them to school. And then there was nobody there.
There's no school.
I wonder how many people that happened to. I'm sure it happened to a lot of people.
And then it was a lot of. I would say this coming from a CPS parent. It was a lot of. I felt half information that was released to us on both sides. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say CTU was totally right. I'm not going to sit here and say CPS was totally right. It was information being leaked that they wanted us to be leaked upon to make us choose sides because people started choosing sides like we were in a freaking civil war. That's what started happening on social media. People freaking went into civil war.
CPU started this fire. CPS poured gasoline on it. That's what
this is what happened. So I just saw that morning on Facebook. As I said, I have several CPS teacher friends. I have several people who work for CPS, several teacher friends. I do. And I just started seeing, we really are trying to work, but they locked us out of our passwords at 1:00 in the morning. How are we supposed to teach? And, like we said, because like that night, because like the day before, that Tuesday before, the teachers did vote saying that they did take a vote saying that they wanted to return to work, but they wanted to return via remote learning. And they said that they would show up for Wednesday, but they were not going to attend in person.
They're going to do it until the 18th is like what that was.
Right, until after, because the 17th is MLK Day, so then they wanted to close it down until then.
Plan, but we way past that at this point.
But it spiraled. So then they was like, yeah, and then Lori Lightfoot's name got put in it somehow. They was like, yeah, she was the one who authorized them to lock the teachers out of lock them out of their passwords so they can't even remote learn. So they're forcing them not to, they're trying to do their jobs and we're trying to do our jobs and you're not letting us work because you're being a bully and this and it just became a bunch of name calling and name sharing. But like you said, once again, we were getting partial information. So finally, what I have ascertained from this whole situation, because I was pulling, I'm like, give me the facts. I put that post up on Facebook. Give me the facts. I don't care about the outside noise. What's the deal? So the deal is that originally, from what I understand, the teachers union was saying that if the numbers climb above 16%, across the board, then they should be switched to remote learning because the numbers are getting high. You get 16% of the thing is like COVID cases because these cases are starting to go up. I can say that for a fact. I can see these numbers going up. They are. So my thing is initially when it came out that they were going to go by January 3rd, I was shocked, honestly, because I was like, they going to let the kids go right back to school after people been off for 2 weeks. And, people was probably traveling, people was probably having large gatherings, but okay. I was like, I guess like they're able to maintain their numbers, but they were saying that in some schools, because all CPS schools are not created equal, they were saying in some of these schools, the conditions are horrendous there. Like the buildings aren't clean. They're like, it's like no hot water in the bathrooms. It was like the filtration thing. Like it's like the HVAC system sucks basically. So it's like they're like every school is not created equal. So that's why the people were saying, I don't want to go in that building. That's why teachers were being resistant about until you guys get this building together and our numbers are high, I ain't going in there, which I agree with. Don't put yourself at risk. If you know something is a bad situation, don't put yourself at risk. But I felt like stuff should have been taken care of better because you knew that these conditions were shitty before before the 3rd of January. Like CTU and CPS, y'all could have worked that out we were out for 2 weeks. Y'all didn't talk at all. Y'all didn't work. You just like, we're just going to be like, oh, I ain't going to report to work. Or no, you going to report to work. What? No, we ain't going. What you going to do? What you going to do? And that's basically where we're at now. Like it's a pissing contest now. So it's kind of like I'm going to be badass and hold my end. But I have gotten some insight now as to what the latest things are. Like briefly, let me look at this email that my child's principal sent to me. But basically, it was
got to be another update from like that.
It is an update. This update came in yesterday. Came in yesterday afternoon. So it's like they have like negotiations on the table. Some they've agreed upon, some they have not agreed upon. So they're still working out that. I'm feeling positive that I am seeing a lot of agrees on stuff, but I'm also seeing some rejected on some things. So it's still some work that needs to be done. It's looking like maybe just looking at these subjects that they have issues on. It looks like maybe it might be a half and half. Half of the terms that they've agreed upon, half of them they're still, I guess, trying to tweak and work out. So, I mean, some of the stuff they agreed upon, they're going to have they want to have K95 masks for everyone. They want to have the health screeners, things like that. They want to do the weekly testing with the kids, like the kids and staff. Like, I mean, I agree, like all this stuff, okay. But then some of the stuff that they're disagree and all, like I said, it's still at the remote, that's still like a tug of war with the remote learning. They're still kind of like.
That's because CPS wants motherfuckers in the classroom. That's all that is.
And my thing is, if the numbers are climbing, like, it should have been done as a discretionary thing. Like, they should have used last week as remote. The kids should not have been in the building last week. They should have remote learned last week. And then by Wednesday or Thursday of last week, they should have had everybody, you go get tested.
Like that way you can have really was a concern. Like the
that way
the CTU could have settled this before the holiday break.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
That's why they was like you should have got tested.
That first week be remote. Like
it should have been the first week should have been remote.
Back already. So yeah. So I don't know. You can play victim all you want, but you kind of did that to yourself.
And then they should have put in where everybody would have got tested by Wednesday or Thursday. So then that way your PCR test could have been back. And then you had to have a negative test to return in the building. Everybody needed a negative test to return on Monday, the 10th. And then like judging by the numbers, if it was too many people that were possibly then, a negative, possibly a positive, then they could have flipped the classrooms as accordingly or flipped the schools because, like we said, every CPS school isn't equal. Like some schools are having huge outbreaks, some schools are not.
That's the CPS's dilemma, I'm sure, is like, why do we have to shut the whole fucking thing down? Becomes
the whole district down.
Because some schools are like, why?
Right, because some schools are, because like my child's school, particularly, like I said, our school was good. Like we didn't have like any of those issues, but now it's like, because we're in the district, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, but like we said, all the schools aren't created equal. So they should have done the tailoring, like, okay, this school has like 25% people out. The whole school is going to get shut down. If you got 25% cases in your school, you need to be shut down. You got too much going on over there. This school doesn't have anything going on. Okay, you guys can attend as needed. Oh, okay, this classroom has a case. Let's just flip that classroom. And that's just what it should be. Oh, you other schools, okay, you don't have anything going on. So you guys can have full in person, but obviously follow the safety protocols, the 6 feet when possible, the mask, and, not, touching on, disinfecting when
needed. We're going to realize that it is what it is at this point. It's like, we do have to learn to live with this shit. Like, you can't beat a fucking virus. Once a virus is here, it's here forever and shit. It's
right.
Like, is you never going back to 2019 or whatever. And that's what seems like some people think that
they want to live in 2019.
Hold out a little bit longer. It's like, no, we're just gonna have to learn how to navigate through this. This is where we are.
Navigate through
this is where we are now. Like, accept the sooner motherfuckers accept that and then figure out how to navigate through it, the better off everybody. That way you won't have shit like this. Like I said, you can plan ahead. It's okay, yeah. It's like a holiday break, week of remote, back to class. Like, yeah.
And change out as accordingly, depending on what these PCR tests say, as accordingly. If you need to flip the whole school, if you need to flip a classroom, whatever the case may be, that's what it should have been. But
I'll go even deeper. Like,
last minute shit, I don't like this.
I'm about to shit on a lot of people right now. This is bigger than CPS, CTU, or any of this shit. I'm going back to where all this started shit, like my industry, the fucking media and shit. I'm taking it right back to where it started. Because, like, here's the thing is, like, when this thing first started in March of 2020, motherfuckers act like it was AIDS and shit when it's really like the flu and shit. That's what you acted, like you treated it like it was worse than it actually was and shit. Because like pretty much early on is like coronavirus. It was like the flu, but like a little bit like more severe and shit. Like as you approach it like that, okay, it's like getting a really bad flu and shit. But y'all just shut the whole fucking world down and all of that shit. It's like it's like to slow the curve for 2. Like I said, you treated this shit like it was AIDS, like it was a death sentence. I've had it and shit. It's not a fucking death sentence. Of course, some people are going to die just like the flu. I've had the flu. I survived that. It's like people die from the flu. Yeah, some die, some don't. Like, then that's what it is. It's like the media treated this shit like it was way worse than it is. And now we're here. And we can never go back to like what it was. Like, you know what? Just be cautious and shit. Wash your fucking hands. Like, and just cover your shit if you have to. Like if you feel immune, you feel compromised, cover your shit. It's like but they made it like it was a death sentence and shit. You will die if you get it. It's like the
have your PPE stuff, have your wipes, have your sanitizer, your Lysol, have your PPE materials.
Media did that. You created this shitstorm.
Media frenzy, as we say.
That's what we called the episode. Media frenzy. I think we called it back when we first started talking about this shit.
Yeah, because it just got like.
With being an election year, that made shit worse.
That drove it further.
What happens during an election year is like you put extra sauce on that shit. Because then all these politicians are like talking about it to like try to get votes out of the shit too.
Well, if I was elected, I would do this. I would do that. I would, it's that type of stuff. And
so like being an election year combined with the media acting like it was a death sentence is like why we are where we are.
This whole thing is just a shitstorm right now at this point, and I'm over it. I'm just like, I'm over this. Like, we need to give a real solution.
Like this, like I said, flus have been around forever. It's like, somebody, guess what? Like, if it's like how we say it should be. It's like if somebody catches the flu in the classroom, guess what? You shut that classroom down.
Right.
That's how it was before all of this silly shit. It's like you don't shut the whole system down. It's like, okay, because
it's getting
okay, send all of them home from
it's getting ridiculous. And then Chicago, it's like
that's what it is.
It's like other districts prepared, like the suburban district prepared. So even Northwest Indiana prepared themselves for theirs. It's like in Chicago, it's like we're the number 3 city in the country. We can't get our shit together. Chicago, come on. You making us look like clowns. Chicago, we looking like clowns right now. We can't get ourselves together. But another thing that I am advocating, like if you are a CPS parent and you do listen to this podcast, use your voice, because talking about it on Facebook that's a good vent. It's good to vent out things on Facebook. However, but if you want real change to happen, like I've already made contact with my PTA president at my child's school, and my concerns are going to be the concerns I raise are going to be put on the next meeting. Use your voice. Go to these PTA meetings. Go to these LSC meetings. Raise your voice so it can get to the higher ups. We do enough talking on the ground floor, it can reach the people at the top. But just doing it on Facebook, who's it going to reach?
Oh man, I helped. I did my part in trying to like take the foot off the gas of the bullshit, like because like I said, I work morning radio in Rockford. I'm part of the Breakfast Club, and I do a news report during that. And of course, like early on, it's like it was about the case numbers. Like, yeah, okay, cases, like the numbers. So what I started doing eventually, I started putting like the recovery numbers with the shit. So okay, like, so and so many people tested positive, but the recovery rate is 95%, something like that. So it means like almost everybody survived this shit. It's like 5% of them died. It's like so I started putting that on it because like the mainstream media was not doing that. They were just talking about like even now they talking about positive cases. Nobody's talking about the recovery rate now with all these people testing positive. Like the numbers rising, how many of them surviving that? They're not talking about. You got to put that out there too, so people know that.
We do.
And it's if you get the shit.
After all, they don't put the numbers out for lottery. They're like, yeah, you can win this $250 million, but the chances they put the chances are really, really small, right? 1 in 59 gazillion.
Anybody hit that Powerball? I know it was up like around 500 million. I've stopped playing a lot of. We talked about that on this podcast years ago. Why I stopped playing.
We talked about it.
I was one number off. I said like I'm done. That was a sign for me, like that this is your last lottery ticket. When you come that close and don't hit, that was a sign to me. Like it was a sign. That was a sign from above saying, like, nah, this ain't your thing.
Maxwell Smart that missed it by that much.
This ain't you, homie. That's how I heard it. So I haven't played a lottery since that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody hit that Powerball. I know it was up pretty high last I saw. Like somebody might have hit over the weekend because they have a Powerball on Saturday. So somebody might have hit on Saturday. I don't know. I have to check. But when I did buy, like that would be like the worst feeling. You know, can you see like the billboards with the number up there? Yeah. When you drive in and it's like each day is okay, like 300, 400 million, 425,
700.
And like when you pass by the next day and shit, and it says like 20 million, you're like, fuck. It's like somebody hit and shit like that.
15 million.
You still went back down to like it was like the day before it was like 500 million. Then it's like
15
the next day or whatever. It's like the worst feeling. And then you know, like, yeah, you did not hit and shit. We see that billboard and it dropped back to the original number, like whatever it is.
But why do people have to give their identity? Why people gotta give their identity when they win? I said the funniest shit ever I seen was a person in Jamaica when they won the lottery down there. They showed up and got their wins. They had the ghost mask from Scream when they collected. Why can't we do that in America where we can be anonymous?
Certain states you can. It's like, yeah, it depends on the state.
You went with a ghost face.
Some states you got to report. I know Illinois, you got to report. Like some.
I was like, why can't we just do that? Why can't it be across the board where you could just be anonymous? Like, why do you have to say I won? Why do you guys say that? Why?
Well, since we're talking about these goddamn cases and everything, as we segue into this bullshit.
Oh boy.
They're saying there's a Deltacron variant. I think they're just making up shit now. It's like, I think they're just making up.
So who is this, Optimus Prime now or Megatron? Like what variant is this now? Megatron variant.
So it's Delta and Omnicron combined. That's what it looks like they said. Deltacron. It's like, so I think y'all just making up shit now. Yeah, it says like the prominent staff refused together. If it sounds like science fiction gone wrong, churning out a mutated baby called Deltacron. And I saw that, I was like, oh, we got to talk about Deltacron. I was like, okay, I think y'all are making up shit at this point.
You see my face.
So now Delta
and Omarion,
we're gonna keep the joke going. Omarion had sex with a Delta and shit. It's like, yeah.
Keep the lights on.
Who's a famous Delta? We're gonna do this. We're gonna make a bit out of this shit.
What's McCall's a Delta. Keisha Knight Pulliam's a Delta.
Mariana, Keisha Knight Pulliam.
Rudy's a Delta. Yeah, Keisha Knight Pulliam's a Delta.
Had a baby is Deltacron. There we go.
I was trying to think of somebody younger, like a younger person. I gotta think of like some older, prominent. I was like, yeah, right.
Famous Deltas. That's why I asked you.
Yeah, Keisha Knight Pulliam's a Delta. Yeah.
She's and Mariana in the same age.
They're in the same age group. Yeah, same age bracket. Yeah.
She might be maybe 5 years older than him. It's like
she's like a little bit older than him.
Mm-hmm. Like they could have went to school together, so they had.
So Mariana's maybe 36 now or something like that.
She's in her early 40s.
35 or 36. He's about that age, I want to say. He has to be by now. He has to be mid-30s right now. He has to be.
Yeah, B2K was out 20.
Yeah, that was the millennium.
That's 22 years ago. That shows you how long it's been around. The name of the group had 2K in it. It's and around that time is when people, the Y2K bug, that shit is
because they were teenagers. They were 16. They were teenagers.
So if he was 16 then, the dude would be in his late 30s. It's
he's about 36 probably, I would say.
So yeah, there it is. Omarion and Keisha Knight Pulliam had a baby. Deltacron. There we go. You might even call the fucking episode Deltacron. It sounds so
Deltacron. This is just. Oh my god!
I saw it. I was like, really? Y'all just making up shit now.
And this is no disrespect to, like I said, because I have a lot of Delta friends too. So it's no disrespect to my Delta friends, but it's what? I think this is made up Deltacron.
It's not even catchy. I had to make a whole origin story of it. That's all ridiculous. Yikes.
Well, I can't wait for the next science fiction movie because I know somebody in Hollywood is probably writing a script right now.
On the fucking COVID script, they gotta be, yeah.
Or Dick Wolf is probably doing a script or something. Dick Wolf is doing his script.
Shout out Dick Wolf. Yeah, I met him on the set of when I peeked behind the curtain. I shot a pilot for Chicago Justice.
Right.
He was on the set that day, so I met Dick Wolf that day.
Dick Wolf, yeah.
That was supposed to be his next big show. It didn't happen. They didn't use me anyway. So when it got canceled, I didn't feel like that. Because they ended up not using me. So, but yeah, he was there. So I was like, oh, that's the man right there. He created some of my favorite shows I've ever watched. Yeah, there's the man. Yeah. Of course, Law and Order being at the top of that list. Yeah. So I hear they bringing the original back. I don't know when though. I heard they bringing the OG back. So I think they should because they got the Chicago lineup on Wednesday. I guess Thursday could be the Law and Order night because they have the SVU and then
Organized Crime.
What's the one with Stabler?
Organized Crime with Stabler.
That could be the lineup, yeah, because you have the original, then SVU, and then Organized Crime.
And I haven't watched that Organized Crime yet. I need to get on it. I'm probably just going to binge it. I'm going to look it up, and I'm going to probably binge it.
And they have the Chicago lineup with PD, Fire, and Med on Wednesday night.
Well, I guess whatchamacallit is just this year is wrapping up to be or leading into this year is wrapping up to be a thing of do-overs, I guess, basically, or reboots.
A lot of that going on.
You know what?
I don't know if you watched it. I did watch it.
I haven't watched it yet. You know what I saw?
No spoilers. It's better than them trash ass sequels, but it's obviously not nowhere near as good as the original. That's probably.
I don't really remember the sequels. I really don't remember 2 and 3. I really don't remember 2 and 3. I watched them at the time, and then
unnecessary.
I remember not being just wow. When I first saw the
second one, and I don't even think I saw the third one. I remember hating.
I saw 3 of them. I don't remember anything about the second 2.
I remember hating the second.
I remember nothing about 2 and 3. I remember nothing about those parts. A lot of it was spent in the real world, from what I remember. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot
in the real world, it's they in a spaceship.
It plugged into the spaceship, and they're in that tentacle thing.
No action in the real world. It's in a fucking spaceship. It's no action in there.
Yeah, but watching the Matrix, when I watched the Matrix for the very first time in 1999, at the show, we went to the show together. We went to the show together to see it. We did. We went to the show together to see it, and I just remember just being it was the coolest movie I had ever seen. At that point, because I had never seen nothing like that. It was just so.
Dare I say it? without the Matrix, you don't have an MCU. Like the Matrix changed the way action movies were done. It's before Matrix and after Matrix.
Here's the action that they did. Like when somebody gets punched and you see the slow motion, the ooh, or like the woo when you're dodging the bullet, the woo. That's what you saw in the Matrix. So
they changed the action movies were done.
They changed the dynamic because everything after that started shooting their sequences like that. Like Romeo Must Die came out shortly after that, and they shot like Jet Li's action scenes were very Matrix-like, very Matrix.
Original Spider-Man movies came out. So you funny you talk about the punch when he's Spidey says when the bully is punching, he's like,
yeah, he goes back, yeah.
So they like I said, those were in the early 2000s. Those movies, Spider-Man movies. But
I mean, I guess it's a thing of
what remakes did you have? I went on a whole Matrix rant. Did you have an idea of one?
You said more remakes that are coming out? Oh, yeah. I just saw online and I have to look it up on Apple TV. It looks like they're doing a reboot of Fraggle Rock. I think they're doing Fraggle Rock. I think
that's like
I saw somebody posted on Facebook.
One of the slept on Henson shows.
And I was like, and people say, "Is this new?" And people was like, "Yeah, it's a reboot." I was like, "A reboot of Fraggle Rock? Like what?" So I'm about to check it out. Like I said, it's on Apple TV because Apple owns the rights to everything. When Disney, like
Disney,
who owns more? Disney or Apple? I have to look and see. I have to look at what they own. Who owns more, Apple or Disney?
Disney is pretty high up there because
Disney owns MCU.
ESPN, they pretty high up there. So
Disney is like the Thanos. He got the Infinity Stones of they got the Infinity Stones. Disney.
But it's Fraggle Rock, okay, yeah, that's Black.
That's what I saw. Because Apple also owns Peanuts now, because they own Charlie Brown. So
like the only place to see the Peanuts holiday specials are now streaming. They used to air them on ABC Evermore, which is also owned by Disney. Yeah, they used to air them on ABC.
So that's a tug of war. Because Apple said, "Hey, I see you and I raised you this." No, we have Charlie Brown now.
They owned everything, and Apple was like, "Hey, yeah, if you want to see Charlie Brown,
you gotta pay for Apple TV."
Come on now. You want to go up? Hey, you want to go where they don't have the executive producer all in the video? You want to have a mouse all in the video, all in the logo? Come to Apple TV.
Come to Apple. And they have the Apple bed.
You want to watch Charlie Brown and Peanuts? You don't have like all full of commercials, all in real time. Come stream it on Apple. Little Suge Knight. It's funny. And I got a bald head. So there we go.
Got piggyback off of that now. So a meme that we were talking about, like similar to Suge Knight, the meme that you sent me about.
Let's just do it.
You pull the meme, boss. Pull it up. Pull it up.
Matter of fact,
pull it up, sister.
I'm gonna put it on there.
Did you just trigger my brain when you said that?
I'm gonna airdrop this shit.
The moment you should have been all up in the video. Suge Knight should have been up in the video dancing because Diddy owns Ciroc. Diddy's worth like $800 million. You, sir, though, I didn't pan out for you because you went to jail and
myself, so I can pull it up here, which we're about to do right now. Yeah.
Speaking of other people who are going to jail for a very long time.
Guess who's going to jail tonight?
For a very long time. My kids will be adults before you get out of jail. They will be full-fledged adults before one of you gets out of jail. Two of you ain't getting out of jail, but one of you is getting out of jail. Well, possibly getting out of jail.
I gotta make it official. I'm trying to get the sizing right so it looks crazy.
Yep.
I look crazy. Okay.
Not even hilarious. Hilarious. That's what I add when I say that. Hilarious. Okay. When I saw this meme, and I had to share it, and I had to put it.
Yeah, like I forgot the original author, but somebody on my Facebook timeline posted it. I was like, yeah. You see, yeah. If I should have stayed on my porch and minded my own business, was a person, Life. Life.
If you guys don't know who that is, that's William Roddy Bryan, aka I call him bowl cut because he had the horrible bowl cut haircut. That's why I call him bowl cut.
Michaels and Bryan guy life.
And if you guys don't know him, he's connected with Gregory and Travis McMichael, who are the pieces of shit who murdered 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery. The piece of shit who murdered that man.
It's almost 2 years at this point, because that was like early 2020.
That was early 2020, right before the pandemic. Sorry, yeah. He was minding his business, jogging, went into building,
not abandoned, a house under construction.
Yeah.
Like one or both of them see him running out of it, and then like he runs down the road, and
then they just start chasing him.
And Mr. Roddy Bryan, like I said, obviously he was like being nosy, like, hey, what's going on? Like he was like, look, the Dukes know something. Let's get in on it. He was like, so they were the Dukes and shit, like it's father and son instead of brothers this time.
he said, like, hey, I'm gonna go follow them.
Michaels know something. Let's get in on it. That's what Roddy.
Yeah. And then they chase him down, and then they shoot. First they try to block him twice with a pickup truck. They try to block him
because it was the McMichaels truck and then Bryan's truck. They both
they were like trying to block him in.
He runs around the McMichaels truck and then gets into a scuffle with Travis McMichael. Yeah,
Travis with his son. Yeah,
Travis had the shotgun. Gregory had a 357. They both had guns, by the way. So, yeah. And then he gets to a scuffle and then he ends up getting shot. Yeah, he shoots him.
Why are you chasing a man who's running?
Like
if you're jogging, he was obviously a jogger, so you know he didn't have a gun. You can't jog with a gun. I mean, obviously he had no weapons on him, obviously, because he was a jogger, obviously. So you come in with a shotgun.
Burglaries and all of that, but then we saw the video. It's like he didn't take anything. He went like looked around and then left. It's like, yeah, he didn't take shit out of that house. And then he saw like the surveillance had other people that went in there too. Like it wasn't just
and look too.
People all the time. Like people just be nosy. You see a house on the stretch, you want to see.
Yeah, because it's a fascinating thing. Seeing a house being built from the ground up is fascinating to see. It is.
They showed other videos that here's like here's some teenagers looking around. Yeah, here's a couple right here looking around. It's like a lot of people had went in that house and looked around basically.
But what do they all have in common? I'm sure what they all had in common.
Some of them, but yeah, mostly. You know,
most of them, what they had in common.
Most of them, yeah. But it was yeah. It wasn't all, but like most of them, yeah.
Most of them. So, and then you do that, and then like so the two McMichaels.
And I posted I've said it here before too. This story wouldn't have even been a national story without Mr. Roddy Bryan's video.
Without bowl cut.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. Thank you, sir, for your video. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for your video.
This would have just been a local story in Georgia, like it wouldn't have made national.
They would have swept it under the rug.
Yeah, because they didn't even arrest those guys for like months. Remember? Yeah. It's really after the George Floyd shit happened when they arrested him.
Like, oh shit, we got arrested now.
Arrest these guys. It's like
the prosecutor wasn't going to even do nothing. They wasn't going to do nothing with him.
Because then once the George Floyd, then other cases started, like, because that one and the Breonna Taylor, the other cases.
Breonna Taylor, yeah.
Hey, like, yeah, we had some injustice over here too. Like, that's what, yeah. So that's what other cases started getting the spotlight, and that's what this McMichael story, because of the and then that video went viral after that. But really, the George.
So what happened?
What made?
So what happened with the McMichaels?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They both got life without the possibility.
They were all three men were convicted of felony murder, like multiple counts, like about a month ago. Like, so that's where we left off. Well, they got their sentence this past week. Go ahead, kids.
Yeah, and it was life for the two McMichaels, life without the possibility of parole. So that means that you're never getting out.
Life plus 20 years.
Life plus 20 years and no parole. Mm-hmm. And no parole. So the older McMichaels is in his late 60s.
Mm-hmm. Gregory McMichael. And Travis.
Yes, and then Travis is like 35. So 35 is pretty young. So basically you just threw your whole life away. So now you took a life, now you're going to get life.
And they still haven't even had the hate crime.
The hate crime, because that's due next month, I want to say.
It hasn't even started yet.
Mm-hmm, that's due next month because they say it's a potential hate crime.
Mm-hmm. So they might pull a Derek Chauvin and plead guilty. You know, Georgia has the death penalty.
Yeah.
So like, hate crime you might get the fucking lethal injection for that. So they might just plead, because they got life anyway, they might just plead guilty to that shit.
Especially and then
might get life
and then Bowl Cut, he got life
because of the hate crime shit. Yeah.
He got life, but they said that he has a possibility of parole, but he has to serve 30 years first.
Yeah. And he's like
53, I want to say, something like that.
I want to say, so he'd be 82. So,
yeah, he's like in his 50s. So
possibly he has a life sentence, because you get 80, it's like there's no guarantees at that age. It's like, especially
so going back to that, if you would have mind your damn business, if all three of y'all would have mind your damn business, mind your business. It costs nothing to mind your business.
Especially that last dude that filmed.
Like I said,
his video is what got them convicted. The jury don't see that video. It's like is the big Mike. What's the name? Ahmaud Arbery didn't have a word. I'm gonna say it's his word against theirs, but it's their word. It's like because it's their.
They can tell the story how they want to tell the story.
Yeah, because Ahmaud Arbery can't tell his version of it. Yeah, so it's their version without that video. And like you see the body cam when I don't know if you ever watched that with the cops talking, you can see Gregory McMichael getting his story together, explaining what happened and all of that shit.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I watched that when he's talking to the cop. It's like, yes. He was like, and it was nothing like how he described it, basically. Yes, he didn't realize that as UK Bowl Cut's video was going to be out there. The way he was telling the story was like totally like, wasn't like what
he told it like how Mr. Bird told the story about when he hit Bart with the car, basically. Like that. Like, that's not what happened at all.
Or it's like the Different World episode. Remember when
with the racist, with Dean Cain being a racist.
Yeah, with I'm an educated black man, your words now. You know exactly what episode. Well, like Ron and Dwayne told the story one way, Dean Cannon told it another way. It was like that. Like that's how them McMichaels, they were telling the story like from their point of view. But here's what happened. That's what he was talking to the cop, telling
Dean Cain. It's just so funny that Dean Cain was a racist on there and
Superman and shit. There you go, DC, a racist Superman. Let's go.
Racist Superman.
Racist Superman. He has to be a villain, though. Yeah, obvious. Yeah, that'll never make it out. We should really write a script for that. It's never gonna see the light of day. They'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit." A racist Superman. That never.
Racist Superman.
You see a racist Superman, you know where the idea came from. Now somebody really does that shit.
Racist Superman.
Dean Cain play Superman. But yeah, like basically, like all of those guys, they never get out of jail.
They're never getting out. Yeah. Which they shouldn't, because it's like you didn't give him a chance. He was only 25.
To live his life, yeah.
Yeah, young, very young man, just coming into life, 25. That's so young. You didn't give him a chance, so.
Like I said, and who knows? Like had there been video for the Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman incident, like shit might have turned out different. That's the difference between that case. In this case, it's like we had video this time. That case, you only had George Zimmerman's version. Is like
and then if you can create, like we said, if you can create this much reasonable doubt, that's all you gotta do as defense. Create this much reasonable doubt. That's all you gotta do.
Okay.
When one juror be like, you know what? I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did. Like, you just have to create that doubt to get one juror.
Because you get, even if 11 of them say guilty, you just need one to say like, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's enough to like, yeah. Because then like that's what they call a hung jury. Like when you get a mistrial, they throw that trial out. Then.
Yeah.
Depending on the prosecutor, sometimes don't even retry it. They say if we just gonna get another mistrial. Sometimes they just like they just drop it after that. If you get a mistrial. Want to talk a little before we got a few more minutes. I'm about
to say, you know, I want to talk.
All star. I'm getting it up. You know, I'm airdropping shit to myself. So let's pull this up right now. Oops, that's not it. That's not it. Here we go. Oh yeah, now we here. We get this fucking
basketball, baby.
Let's get Mr. Bowl cut off the screen and pull this up.
Mr. Bowl cut.
He's still on the screen. I forgot he's still.
I want that to trend. I was trying to get to trend Bowl cut. I was trying to get that to trend. Yeah, that awful haircut.
All right. I have the first returns from the fan voting for NBA All-Star. I'm trying to pull it up. You could let me know if you can see this, like the size, because the size be like tricky. Like, yeah.
Let me see if I can see it.
You read that?
Yeah, I can read it.
Say we got them over 40 eyes now. Let's make sure you can read. Like you see it. Okay.
I can see it.
All right. Because I was going to expand it, but then it wasn't expanding right. Oh, yeah, that's better. Okay, yeah. Because we can cut the top off, but the top don't really matter. All right.
Okay.
Here we are right now. Well, fuck all of this. Let's start with guards on the East. DeMar DeRozan is leading the guards. Chicago Bulls, DeMar DeRozan. Even though technically he's playing front court, but he's listed as a guard, so I'll take it.
He's listed as a guard, yeah.
Because in the front court, he got a lot of competition. You got Durant, Giannis,
Embiid
is near him, yeah, but like Giannis, they both ahead of him.
Giannis and Kevin Durant, of course.
Neck and neck. It's like, so I will take he's like got a pretty hefty lead. James, so DeMar DeRozan, barring some dumb shit, is like he's starting for the East in the NBA All-Star game this year.
As he should.
And then Harden and Trae Young, they're pretty neck and neck right now.
Right.
For Trae Young, sorry. And I really want Zach, but Zach got some climbing to do. Zach, I don't know if he passes Trae Young and like Harden because he's fourth right now. But Zach will definitely be an all-star as the coach's pick.
Yeah, absolutely. But he needs to start. Zach should start.
I
don't even know why Harden's even that high up.
Because he plays for Brooklyn. That's why, like them popular. You remember, like,
it's a popularity contest.
Yeah, let's take this down before we talk about that. Like back in the day, that used to happen all the time. That's why I'm glad now they don't just go strictly by fan vote. They they listen to the fans, but then they like make educated shit. They would do dumb shit like that. They had like Allen Iverson when he was like with the Nuggets and washed up, like playing it like he was like way past his price. Allen Iverson shit was not.
How many people even remember Allen Iverson playing with the Nuggets? How many people even remember that?
People knew the name Allen Iverson, so he did the All-Star game. Or another one is like Grant Hill would get voted every year, like when he was like
with the Suns.
I wasn't Suns. It wasn't that. He wasn't that bad. I want to say Orlando. Orlando. He was getting voted there.
I went too far. I said the Suns. I went too far.
Even his kids.
I went too far.
They're watching his old footage. They were like, "Wow, Dad, you weren't always a scrub."
Oh, Dad, you couldn't even play. You used to be able to play, Dad. You wasn't always a scrub, Dad.
They saw his old stuff and like because he was with the Suns, but they was like, "Wow, yeah, he used to really be good." Hilarious. But another one, like Yao Ming would get voted every year because China is like a billion motherfuckers voting. Even though like when he played like 5 or 6 games, like cause he missed all the season with a foot injury, but he still get voted in the All-Star game. Shit like that is like why James Harden. Let's bring it back up now. It's so high right now.
It's a popularity contest. Because, like, as far as, like, two guards, Zach is having the best season out of any two guard in the league.
Zach is one of the top 5 players.
In the league. Right now, so. Western and Eastern. In the league. Zach is having a great season.
Here's, like, my theory about why DeRozan got so high with that many votes. Like, sure, DeRozan is
the consecutive back-to-back shots.
Full shots, yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, because before that, like people saw it as like, okay, yeah, this DeRozan dude is for real. Like I think, like he probably got a huge surge of votes.
I thought leapfrogged him.
So I think before that, like he probably would have been more like where Zach is at. But I think, and I think Zach might have even been ahead of him. But like those shots got motherfuckers like, okay, like this motherfucker is for real.
He can play.
I think that's what it is. Like. Because like right after that, he probably got a huge.
Those were 2 amazing shots, and he did get voted again as the Conference Player of the Week. Duh! Of this past week, he was a Conference Player. Duh! Them 2 shots. I mean,
but I don't know. Like I said, Zach got a lot of because he would have to pass Trae Young and Harden. So like,
I hope we can. I hope somehow it can work. I hope that it just surges and we just look up and Zach is it.
I don't want to wish ill, or if somebody gets injured, you don't want to wish ill. Hey, that happens too. If somebody.
Or if Zach pulls up from half court and has one of them shots, if he pulls up from half court, because or if he has an amazing dunk, if he does like a windmill, because Zach said that he wants to do a windmill in a game. I was watching the video because he was like talking about his 360 dunk. He was like, okay, I've done like 5 360 dunks so far. in his career. He was like, I want to do a windmill now. So I want to see him get a windmill in the game.
And in front court, Vooch is in the top 10.
I saw that. I was like,
and with the coaches picking, they might
Vooch might get in with the coach.
Might be favorable because the Bulls are number 1 in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches take that into consideration as well too. Mm-hmm. Like not just the player, but like because like you're on a shitty team and like you got good numbers. Like a lot of times you're not making the All-Star team, which is why Zach just made his team last year because those Bulls teams were fucking horrible. It's like even though Zach was balling out like 2 or 3 like couple of seasons ago, but the coaches wasn't putting Zach on the All-Star. Like when the one in Chicago, perfect example, the All-Star game in Chicago. Yeah. Bulls lost 60 games that year. So like, even though Zach was hooping out, like the coach was like, we're not, like your team is trash.
Donovan is one. And then obviously,
he knows your home, you're the whole city, but like no, you.
And then obviously with them being one, Donovan will be the coach of he'll coach the All-Star team. Because the coach, who's the number 1 seed, gets to coach the team. So Donovan gets to coach. So.
But Vooch might get picked. The coaches might put.
I hope so. We have 3 All-Stars?
Possibly for the first time in I don't know when. Because I know during the championship years, like it was always a snub. Because no, Grant didn't make it and Rodman didn't make it like during both.
Right.
Like which was bullshit. Like
which is blasphemous when you look at it. It was blasphemous that both of them, neither one of those guys. Come on now.
I remember both times I was mad too. Like I was watching during when I was like, how Grant not make it? And then like later, like how
Rodman not make it? Yeah, both of them.
We were being pissed off. And there'll be somebody on the team that did make it. Like how that motherfucker make it? Like I look at somebody
like a goofy ass. Goofy ass. That's goofy ass. Yeah.
Like that. But I think they just didn't want the Bulls to be too fucking to gas them up too much. That's what a lot of people. Because like I said, the coaches were probably hating. That's what I think. We don't want to gas them up too much, so let's not put Rodman on the team. Because Mike and Scotty would get voted in by the fans, obviously.
Of course, of course. They ain't.
Yeah. Rodman would have had to be a coach's decision. They said, like, they're a little too big-headed. Let's not put Dennis on the team. That's what I think.
You don't want 72 games.
Yeah, because that season, Rodman not make it that year. That's what I'm saying.
You won 72 games.
If it was going to have 3 All-Stars, it would have been that season.
Right.
How you not have it that season? You only had 2 that
currently,
year.
Currently, like I said, we won't know. By the time you guys hear, because they play Dallas today, but currently the Bulls are on a 9-game winning streak.
Possibly 10, depends on what happens with the Dallas Mavericks. We just
crossing fingers. Let's go.
We're just speaking the present. We just thought
they're on a 9-game winning streak right now. So playing some great basketball. Our bench is looking good. They're showing that Ayo and Kobe are showing that they can coexist.
Kobe White has been balling his ass off.
He's been balling his ass off.
When he came back from injury, he was he was a little shaky, but like lately, like he been balling.
You know what did for him when he got to start? The start did for him. That was the confidence that he needed when Lonzo was out.
Lonzo Ball was out because of the COVID bullshit.
Because of COVID.
And Caruso was hurt, so like you had
that's all he needed.
You had your 2 like main guards like out there. So it's like
that's all he needed. He needed that to boost his confidence. And then once that started happening, then even in some game situations, like when they play Atlanta, and he did struggle a little bit in the first half against Trae Young, because Trae Young is just an amazing scorer. So when they put Ayo,
why I think Trae Young is probably going to start. Like he's probably going to pass.
Yeah. And then they put Ayo on him, but then Ayo frustrated Trae Young. Ayo knew how to frustrate him because Ayo plays good defense. But then the second half, then Kobe stepped up his defense. And ever since then, Kobe's defense has looked a lot better. Like he's out there making defensive stop, making plays. Part of the reason why DeRozan first 3 happened with Indiana, because Kobe got the steal. Kobe went to the deck and got the steal.
You got to remember, like you got to put yourself in Kobe White's shoes. Like why? Yeah, your confidence will be shaken. Remember, he was drafted number 7th overall in his draft, 2019 draft. So he was drafted to be the point guard of the Bulls. But then, then they signed Satoransky. Yeah. Then they go and get Lonzo after that. So, like, in your mind is like, okay, like, yeah, do I suck? Is like,
am I not good enough?
Getting all these other guards, even though you drafted him to be the guard. So, like, so that's why you need that little confidence boost to like get him out of his funk.
But honestly, what I think that they should do with Kobe White, treat him like a Lou Williams. Lou Williams had a great career being a six man. He has a great career being a six man.
Lemon pepper Lou. Yeah.
You need like Jamal Crawford was a great six man. You need a six man. Mm-hmm. You need a good six man on your team. Like, look at all these good teams. You need a good
Manu Ginobili.
Manu, you need a six man.
Arguably the greatest six man of all time.
Technically, Wishmakar started as a six man, but like he obviously was better than that. Like Harden started as a six man. Harden was
in the OKC, like he was six man.
Yeah, in OKC he was. Mm-hmm. But on these teams, you need that six man. You need somebody who can come in with that second unit, who can lead that second.
To our Bulls dynasty, like Tony Kukoc was our six man.
Kukoc was a six man, and now he's a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
You need bench scoring.
One of the top Euro players.
Probably top five.
Possibly, maybe the greatest Euro player saw him and said, "I'm going to the NBA." Dirk Nowitzki, greatest Euro player ever. Maybe he saw Tony Kukoc and said, "I'm gonna do what he did." Maybe that motivated him. It could have, you know what I mean? You see him go, you be like, "I can go too."
And Tony and like players like that is like they give up a lot. Like Tony was the man over in Croatia.
In Croatia, yeah.
Jordan, but then he comes to the NBA. You got to take a reserve role. So, like, yeah, that probably like messed with him mentally. But
he was like Michael Jordan in Croatia. He was like Michael Jordan. He was.
Yeah. And then he come over here, and then like he got to come off the bench. But yeah, he made it work. And yeah,
the waiter, the waiter
during that championship run, the second dynasty, he was a sixth. Yep. But shout out Io, yeah, once again, like you, Illinois retired as number 11, hanging in the rafters this past week as well too.
INI.
Nobody will ever wear his number 11 for the University of Illinois men's basketball. Like Io, they retired it for him.
I gotta get down there for a game so I can look up in the rafters and take a picture and see. I gotta get down there for a game now. Well deserved. We'll drive down for a game.
That note, I think we can wrap this thing up.
Yeah, we can wrap on the Bulls. My Bulls.
Podcast episode 241. If you like what we're doing, you know what to do. Give us a like if you like what we're doing. Why not? Also subscribe, share. That's what we use. Rate, review on all your platforms. Talking about Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, SoundCloud, iHeart, TLC Talk Radio. What up, Tasha?
Hey, Tasha.
Yes, on your Amazon Alexa devices and on YouTube. I think we're going to use the goofy one we just used, unless you want to do another one. But I like the goofy polls. I like the goofy one we just did. So unless you want to do another one to have options, I don't.
The goofy one's fine. We can use the goofy one.
The goofy. Shout out my own boy Kingpin Cash also as well too. Like I stopped by his show on my Chicago radio on internet radio. Had to show the brother some love. He's trying to bring that old school hip hop flavor back. So shout out to good brother Kingpin Cash. Also follow me at Ozman the Wizard on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Oz Radio, Snapchat, and Facebook as well. Got to put my shit out there.
And you can check me out, MSIMA8626 on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Mm-hmm. Also, SCR8GULLEY1 on Twitter, SCR8GULLEY7 on Instagram. Also, please like the Straight Gully Facebook fan page. Check out straightgully.com for your blogs and your vlogs. And for your video production needs, check out straightgullyproductions.com.
I'm Ozman the Wizard.
And Naima.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Gone.